So I am curious, right? Do people look at something and then if again, people could look at art and see two separate many different things. You could look at there's ways to interpret a book. You read a book, you guys remember English class, the teacher would interpret the book and you'd be like, nah, maybe he's just sitting under a tree. Maybe just a tree is a tree, right? You've ever taken philosophy. But when you look at stocks and you say, hey, you said to buy it here and now it's here. There's no denying that, right? So before I was about to shut down for the day, and we're just it it's worth having this conversation. Some of these stocks that I got my members in front of have now gone to the point where it's almost comical. It's too good to believe, right? So the Rigatoni, for instance, this was a 92-cent stock, and people, when I said, hey, this thing, if it breaks five, it could go to 20. People laughed, they scoffed, whatever. I was like, okay. And then it went to 20. And then it consolidated for 8 months. And when I said, in this environment, if this stock breaks through 20, it's going to go to $50. Now it's at $56. Cool. And then USAR, right? Hey, man, you know about this USAR trade? Maybe you did, maybe you didn't. I was involved back when there was a SPAC. It was a pop and drop, pump and dump, pump and dump. But in this market, when a pump and dump continuously gets pumped and then breaks out, it doubles. Makes kind of no sense, right? But then it breaks 20 and it goes to 40. Okay. Right? So then NVTS, right? You thought I was joking. NVTS, right? So NVTS, they had a deal with NVIDIA. I read the news release. I'm like, you know what? It sounds like NVIDIA is just going to buy this company. Let's own it. And we owned it. Sold puts on it, collected some premium. And then it was disappointing because the market started rallying and NVTS kind of fell out of favor. I'm like, what the hell is this kind of shit? Stocks aren't supposed to go down in this market. I'm going to dump it. And I sold on the way down at 750 and 6. And then it went to like 5 and change. And then a couple of days later, it went back, started to go back up. I'm like, here we go again. Another stock that I sold out of that's going to rip. And here's what I told my members. I'm going to do you a favor. It's SPS, stubborn prick syndrome, right? I'm going to show you how it works. I'm not going to buy NVTS back. So everybody make sure you buy it. But Kenny, I thought you said you sold it. That's why I want you to buy it, because I'm cursed and my curse is your blessing. Buy all you can. And I said, wait a second. If it breaks over 750, I guarantee you it goes back to the 979. But if it breaks 979, it's going to double from there. Why? Because that's what happens in 2025. Once your stock breaks out, it doubles. Look what it's doing now. It's ripping, and it's at $14. So basically up 100%. See, these are the trades that, as much as they make sense, as somebody like me that's been in the business for 30 years, it doesn't make any sense. Because generally, when a stock would go up 100%, it would take 4 to 5 years for a double. And if you doubled your money in 4.5, close to 5 years, you were doing really well. Now stocks are doubling daily. So how are you supposed to trade this environment? You're suspend what you believe, what you think, because none of it matters, right? So for instance, NVTS. Normally, if you see a stock rally into news, somebody knew the news was coming out, right? And it's usually a sell the news moment. Not in this market. Now, the stock could rally 100% into news. The news comes out, and generally it's to sell the news because somebody knew. Again, the way the market used to work was insiders would tell their friends, hey, we got some news coming out in a couple of weeks with NVIDIA. Buy the stock now. stock would start moving. Technical analysis guys like us, hey, that stock's moving. Let's get involved. 750. All right, $8. All right, cool. Here we go. Then the stock breaks through 9 and change. Hey, new all-time highs. More money's coming in. Then a couple of more days later, the news comes out. The people that are buying from 6 and 7 who knew the news generally do what? They cash out. Not in this market. Not in this market. In this market, nobody sells. So now what used to make stocks go down, just a little profit-taking event, you don't even get that now. You just double. And then you double from there. So here, for instance, NUKK, right? We've been trading this one since the turnaround. NUKK. What is it? Is it a nuclear stock? Who gives a shit at this point, right? Every stock's going up 10x, 20x, right? So Nookie. Hey, what's this? I don't know. If it breaks 5, it's probably going to 750. 750 gets you 10. And then you see the news, right? The news on this one was that they got what's it called? Is this the one that got allowed to be back in the NASDAQ? Oh, yeah, full compliance. So the stock had already rallied into the compliance announcement. Normally you would sell off. Nope, not in this market. You're probably going to go 10x on NUKK and like NVTS. So NVTS, right? You think you've missed something? Why? Because the stock just went from 5 to 750, 750 to 10. Now the stock's at 14. It's going to go to all-time highs now, which is $22. But that's just where it gets started. Because in this market, stocks that get back to all-time highs and break double. So not only do you think so somebody said, do you think it's still a good buy? Listen to the words I just said. Just because the stock's up now 200% in a week, that's when it gets started. So chances are the stock's going to be at 22 tomorrow. But that's just where it gets started, right? So now when it breaks 14, it goes to 15. 15 gets at 1750. And when NVTS breaks, what's the all-time high? 22.19, that's when it doubles. So your target on this $14 stock now is what? $50. And if you think that doesn't make any sense, have you seen what's been going on in 2025? What I just described is every stock. Have a nice day. So once again, good luck shorting. Nothing works. You get one day a year, or sorry, one day every 3 months where you actually have a sell-off that doesn't bounce and rip in your face. But then you try to explain that to the NVTS short sellers who started to sell the news and now are getting lit up. And they're going to continue to get lit up. And tomorrow, when it sells off $1.20 at the open, cover. When you get that sell on the news at the open, all it's going to be is another faux show bro on its way to $22 and then to 50. And then when it breaks 50, it goes to 80 and then it goes to 120. And so if you're saying, Kenny, can you just be more, can you clarify? So are you saying the stock's going to 120 now? Yes. That's what I'm saying. And I'll see you there. But tomorrow I'll probably try a short on it and see if it pulls back. Because after the pullback, that'll be new generational lows on it. And the stock will then go probably to 120 to 250 to 500 to 1,000. Because it doesn't even matter what symbol it is right now. Nookie, ABVE, BTQ, TMQ, USAR, RGTI. Whatever the stock is, it's going to double. And that's the market we're in. And if you're going to try to fight this, good luck. It doesn't work. I'm living proof that shorting does not work. Take my word for it, please. What you witnessed on Friday was a one-off. If the market ever decides it wants to sell off, we'll do exactly like we did Friday. Hey, look, the market's actually going down. What's UVXY doing? Oh, it's green? All right, maybe we will stay down today for more than 7 minutes. Good luck. Tomorrow we'll be probably back to all-time highs. I hope I'm wrong. I'd like to see a rollover on some of these quantum names because I'm going to go ahead and say 17,000% is enough. Because if you don't know, rigatoni's up 17,000%. And they don't really do quantum computing. That's the fun part about it, too. So, and now going back to that premise, you want to know about these companies, how much money they make. Why? The last thing you want to do is become WD-40 or Tootsie Roll or Johnson and Johnson. You don't want your company ever to make money. You want to know why, right? Because then that E in the EPS or EBITDA actually means something, and then they could value your stock in a rational manner. You don't want that. You want irrational exuberance, hype, and momentum. That's where you get 20x, 50x trades. You don't want your company making money. You don't even want them truly existing. You want the dirtiest, doggiest, hemorrhaging cash, fake company bullshit. That's that's the stocks that are ripping right now. And I think it's just going to continue until we completely, absolutely fucking get that 50% wipeout across the board, which I hope I'm alive for it. Because when these quantum stocks give up their gains, they're not just pulling back 5%. They're all going down 50%. And some are going to go to zero. None of these companies do anything. The whole game is fugazi. This whole market is bullshit. But try getting in the way. Good luck. It's impossible.